So firstly, Simon, good to see you. It's been
Very good to see you.
Been a long time, but firstly, congratulations with the tie-in on CoFiGi Performance and also Formula Medicine over in Italy. How did the genesis of this actually happen?
Dr. Ceccarelli, I worked for a long time ago, I think back in 2009. So we've known each other a long time, and obviously I spent time out there seeing how they do things. So whilst I was working, I knew what was expected of me, and the first time I walked in there, I was taken aback by the setup, the professionalism they had and they have, and really the things that they were working on behind the scenes in terms of the mental training, which at that time was where I was sort of more interested in terms of of helping individuals reach and maintain optimum mental performance. And what they had been working on was something that I had touched on with GT Academy, and we sort of started a bit of that during GT Academy all the way up until Le Mans, when Jan Mardenborough became the first driver to drive around the Le Mans circuit with their live brain and human biometrics shown on the back of the Duke Ride, which was the big screens coming out of the Nissan Duke. So we were able to monitor his heart rate and his brain waves and see what was happening physically and mentally whilst he was in the car. What Dr. Ceccarelli has done since then is taken something very similar and evolved it and worked on it with a local university. There's been a lot of data, a lot of work behind the scenes to perfect the algorithms that give the neural efficiency and the readings that we get from the device measuring the frontal lobe. And from that, it's sort of developed further and further, and I've always been very passionate about that. Every time I kept going over there, I saw the latest software, I saw other drivers using it, I was using it myself, and I knew that we had to bring it to the UK. So have that facility in the UK, there is nothing even like it at the moment, and to bring that here was something that I felt needed to be done, and Dr. Ceccarelli agreed with that as well, and we've worked on it together for quite some time with a view to bring it here, and it got to the stage during lockdown. Myself, my business partner Geoff, who had been sort of included in working on this as well when we had it set up here before lockdown, and we were using it within an esports capacity. We've had a lot of positive feedback because we had the kit here to start seeing whether it was feasible to have it here. And during lockdown, Geoff and I sort of decided, right, well let's put something together and get it over here and set up as soon as we come out of lockdown, and here we are.
Right at the Innovation Centre at the home of British Motorsport, and we're literally a stone's throw from Brooklands, Woodcote and Luffield, three iconic corners here at Silverstone. To be here at where a lot of we've got Aston Martin Cognizant F1 team just across the road.
Just literally a stone throw away.
We've got Grove, Williams, Mercedes not too far away in Brackley and Brixworth with HBP and obviously the main part of the F1 team there. And also, whilst we've been going through these relevant cognitive tests through brainwave analysis and obviously looking at focus, looking at heart rate, rather than concentrating on results, it's all about that mental efficiency that you and Geoff through CoFiGi Performance are looking at that mental efficiency of how to activate the brain in such a way where drivers can consistently learn, improve, and less rely on that thinking time, which sometimes actually takes up a bit too much of the cognitive functions, but react in a way where the subconscious comes in and straight away they can go right. And as we found out with those 50 different exercises that I was doing in rapid succession, we found that at some point my average was 1.7, we got it down to just over 1.0. And the heart rate was consistent. The reaction times in some places were less than a second with having an answer. And I think your sort of coaching really opened my eyes in terms of mental performance training. And the fact that we've already discussed that you've worked with James Baldwin, world fastest gamer. Two, obviously Rudy Van Buren was the person that won the initial world's fastest gamer down at Woking at McLaren. But then Cahal Clark, who you've been doing some work with the Zuanes over in Canada, that we both know them very, very well indeed. It just goes to show that this has a multi-pronged application. You mentioned esports, but also in real life as well.
Absolutely, and it's not just sport either. It's in the corporate world. I think without doubt there'll be a big corporate part of this business, because it doesn't matter what you do. The beauty with this software and with these challenges that are set up specifically to target and analyze certain parts of our brains, it is dealing with pressure. It's becoming more self-aware in yourself, not just physically but mentally as well. And up until now there hasn't been that ability where people can feel a bit mentally fatigued, but what about being able to feel when you are focused, when you're not focused, and start to feel when your brain is starting to become tired, and then what you need to do to put your brain into that automatic state. And you were saying that many people say at the zone, or going into that subconscious state, that automatic state where consciously you are not having to engage your brain, you're not having to think about anything. It's the subconscious, it's that automatic state where it's reactive to the moment. And it's about being able and learning to put yourself in that state, because when you're in that state, no matter what you're doing, driving, cycling, at work, looking at figures on a screen, it's about being in the right mindset to be able to focus on that and being resistant to any outside distractions, things that would put you off what you were doing, and take your brain 100% off what you're doing. And then if your brain goes off what you're doing, you're not 100% focused.
I think when we had the discussion during those colour tests, very much, it's the same with commentary. You know, we found out a bit of a trigger point for me, that when I close my eyes, I start to sort of think of nothing and I breathe deeply, it heightens my brain activity. Mm-hmm. But then when I come out of that state, it starts to lower the cognitive activity, and thereby it's reactive. And that was very true of when we discussed about it, that I said that it seems like that's to start preparing me, and then as soon as I go into commentary mode, I then have that trigger point to sort of go, right, okay, react, be decisive, be instinctive, don't dwell on it if you make a mistake, correct it if you need to, mm-hmm. But if you've made a mistake, wait until you find an appropriate time to correct it.
And it's about being able to move on quickly and it not affect your performance moving forwards. And as you said, doing that, it is what it is. You make a mistake, you move on. But the beauty is when you're doing this and there are 3 other people around you doing the same challenge, and you're all looking at the same screen, which is split into quarters, and you hear one of them swear they've made a mistake and swear and huff and puff, does that then distract you? Well, yes, of course it will, mm-hmm. at first. But as you work on this, you start to learn how to build resistance toward those distractions. And that if you're able to avoid distractions, it helps you maintain optimum performance. And that's what we're aiming to do here. And over the past 2 years, I've been using this, even using it for myself as well. Mm-hmm. Feel the benefits of it. It's as I'm obviously getting older, I feel my brain is sharper now and more reactive than what it was a few years ago. And that's absolutely from using this software on a regular basis. And I'm more in tune with myself physically and mentally as well. I know when I'm getting tired, and obviously when you're mentally tired and you're focused on something for a long time, let's take some of the esports gamers. You look at them and the hours that they spend looking at the screen. Eventually their mental fatigue levels are going to go through the roof. And when they go through the roof, what happens? Their driving is not going to be as good as it was 3 or 4 hours earlier. Yeah. Well, as I mentioned to you earlier, in a way the brain is like a muscle. If we work it in the way that we can work it here in this facility and over in Italy, it helps improve the so-called fitness of the brain. And if you improve the endurance of your brain, you are able to concentrate for far longer periods of time without making a mistake. And that's exactly what a lot of the esports gamers found after using this software.
Well, I'm really, really pleased that Dr. Ceccarelli has given you the blessing of the cooperation with Formula Medicine. For those wondering about Formula Medicine, they have worked with quite a lot of drivers, especially with the BMW Motorsport program. Drivers such as 2-time DTM champion Marco Wittmann, Sheldon van der Linde, Timo Glock. And I still remember when Timo first joined BMW back in 2013. Remember, he was very clean shaven, very fresh out of Formula One, and within a couple of years the full old stubble came on, and I think he didn't really give a... He was growing gracefully older like a fine wine, but also it just goes to show that, you know, I'm really, really pleased that this has now come to the fore. So if you do want to find out everything about CoFiGi Performance, you can head to their website. Link is in the description down below. Simon, thank you very much for inviting me over.
Thank you very much for coming. It's been great to have you here and show you how everything works.